Hi there, welcome to some of the latest news and catch-ups on the Noah Presgrove case, taking a look at some kind of Snapchat supposed evidence or proof which has surfaced for the first time, I'm guessing, online. It's been talked about by the likes of Brooke Bounds Carter, I believe, and we'll be checking out their original response, the context of that, and then transitioning on to either Reddit or Facebook regarding the Snapchat post or a screenshot from it. It's not like a direct screenshot from the point of view of the person's phone, but it's like another phone's been used in front of it. What is it about poor quality? What is it about this? I don't know. Is it like a theme of awkwardness within this case? It's like the evidence is out there, but you got to go and find it. I might have it. It might be easy to get, but you know what? I'm going to make it harder for you to get a hold of. That like cooperation, that coordination, which is supposed to be claimed within the case, but when it comes to the general public, and there might be public information, or there might be those within the case that are very passionate about the supposed truth and that they may have evidence. But how do they come across when describing it or when presenting it? It's just not always easy to get a hold of. So that's one of the reasons as to why I'm doing this video a bit later. As I said, been catching up as well. But it was finally posted or reposted on Facebook and I think even Reddit as well. But it did come out earlier. I just couldn't find it. So that's the reasoning behind all of that. But I'm just going to try and make sense of it today. I'm assuming that the theme of it, whether it's 100% true or false, I'm guessing the theme and topic is trying to disprove Kaden Pressy and his timeline with the highway situation. That's what I'm guessing. I'm aware that, Stevie Howard was like disproving or discrediting Kaden previously, but we've seen that with like Waves and Patterns already. But with Brooke Bounds Carter, as for who they really are, I don't really know that much about them, but they are friends with some of those within the case or parents of those partygoers within the case, okay? Just as a heads up there. As for Brooke Bounds Carter, they did answer one question on a previous video saying, never heard of Kayla Carter before. Who's Kayla Carter? The eyewitness at the casino that saw three of the partygoer guys supposedly maybe disposing of a hat or placing it on top of a bin at least. So Kayla Carter is not linked or related to Brooke Bounds Carter. They just got the same names, that's it. They're not related by blood. Well, that's at least what we've been told, okay? So we'll see how things go today. Welcome to those in this live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat. Leave your comments down below if you want to elaborate, you got any questions. There is a pinned comment underneath this video in the comment section if you do want to support this channel. Shout out to Horizon in the background for their presence, much appreciated. If you are interested in previous coverage, if you weren't notified on my last important video, if you want to see more videos where I give my actual opinion of what the situation is with the case and Noah Presgrove, the outcome there, cause of death, location. I did a video yesterday, very deep, deeper than ever. To watch it, access it, well, if you hover top right corner of the screen right now, up there on the right, there should be an I symbol. You click on that, there'll be a drop-down box. You'll find the playlist to all my videos on the case and that earlier one that I did from yesterday. So feel free to catch up when you do have time, just like I'm trying to catch up with this case. One day off, not doing a video or so, and then what ends up happening, all kinds of trouble and mess, but we're back on track once again. And as for today's theme video, it's just making sense of this Snapchat thing, the dates, the timing of it. Is the true context, is it fully, clearly outlined and explained? Well, time will tell very shortly. So let's just give the context first of how it came about, or at least how I heard about it from what Brooke Bounds Carter had to say on YouTube. Here we are. So this was 4 days ago, this comment thread by Michelena Walgreen, and she said, how do you think people are going to react if they find out Kaden Pressy's timeline is wrong? I did mention that previously, saying that, yes, people look up to Kaden, people within the community look to someone in having that hope, instilling that trust within that one individual, like a beacon of light, a beacon of hope for that consistency, truth and honesty. And that if there was ever a dark twist, not that there will be, but if in a certain scenario, that would really mess people up. Especially if things have already been rough, especially if you've already got trust issues, and if you haven't, you might develop them later, and that can apply anywhere in life. It doesn't matter if it's online, it doesn't matter if it's in real life. If you've put your trust in someone and you've got comfortable with them, and then everything's turned upside down afterwards and everything was a lie or a certain aspect of it was, then what do you believe? What do you think? Where do you go from there? Well, we saw it in the Dylan Rounds case. It was all under control there. It was sorted. You set up a ground zero, set up a point where when you fall back, you've got a soft cushion to land on. We can apply that to the Noah Presgrove case, right? Even if a lot of timestamps were turned upside down, there's that one little timestamp somewhere that's consistent. Use that as the starting and midpoint on your climb when learning about this case, really. But Brooke Carter, the Brooke Carter, says, well, there is proof. We have it, and it's out now. So Brooke is adding on and basically saying that what Micheline said here, what if Kaden Pressy's timeline of events Monday morning was wrong? And Brooke is saying there is proof to say that Kaden's timeline is incorrect. That sounds quite shocking, right? You know, what's your thoughts about it? But understandably, it's also normal to be questionable and think, oh, you're just saying that there's proof. Where is it actually? I can't see it. So all I did, I just asked a few questions, just to get a better idea. So they've got proof, okay. They have it, such as Brooke. To say we have it means it's more than one person, so Brooke Carter and whoever else has the proof. It's out now, but it wasn't almost a year ago. Why is it only being released now, Brooke Carter? Is it because you've only just got a hold of it? Is it because you weren't allowed to release it earlier on? What's the deal there? Because sometimes in other cases when people are withholding possible key information which can be released publicly but they choose not to, it just doesn't really help the situation. That's why I'm asking my questions, just to get a better idea. I said the source. Where's the source? Okay, you might have proof, you might have evidence, but if you're not going to show it or you're not going to say where it comes from, then, well, how does that do anyone a favour? Brooke said, I have the Snapchat on my phone. How did you get a hold of that Snapchat on your phone? Did someone pass it on to you? Did you research into trying to get a hold of it? Did you look at other accounts and then found it that way? Then I said, has it been published publicly and where? You might have evidence. You might have it from Snapchat, but is it public? And if it is public, where has it been posted to? The response by Brooke was, it's been shown to some and majority has been posted, yes. What does that mean? It's been shown to some people and that the majority of people have been posted. I don't quite understand that language and wording. Maybe it was spelled. It's just a bit all over the place, to be honest. Let me just double check. Look at that. Well, there is proof. We have it and it's out now. To say it's out now would imply it's public. It's there in the public domain. But then you say it's only been shown to some people. Well, it's not exactly out there, is it? It is now. By the time when this was typed up, to say it's been released. Okay, released to the public. But, by the way, it's only been shown to a few people. Well, that makes it sound a bit more restrictive. You see, language and wording goes a long way. It can cause confusion. I said, Facebook, I've searched, didn't see it. At not one point did Brooke say where it was posted to or where it was shown. I asked many questions. I didn't receive an answer. Very unfortunate. So I assumed, I'm guessing you're talking about Facebook. I went there, I searched, couldn't find it. And Brooke says, really? there are like 500 comments on it. So this is the thing, it tends to be an American thing, but it has leaked into the UK ever since 2016 onwards, because I noticed it in college, that people like using the word like. Like I went to the grocery store, like I then went to the mall, like I just said, hey y'all, and like it's just so hectic, like. It's either it is or it isn't. You can use the word like as in you like a cat, you like ice cream. Other times when you use the word like, it's more of a kind of comparison, but not literal. You know, that water, the shaping of it, the bottle is kind of like that vase. It's not the same thing, but the shape is almost similar, okay? But if you had a bottle of water and said, that's kind of like wet, it's either wet or it isn't, okay? So to say there's like 500 comments would imply that that's probably a bit of an exaggeration. Now, when I was searching on Facebook, it doesn't matter how many comments there are online. If it's spread about, it's not exactly going to be easy to find. If there's 500 comments on only one post, that can be hard as well. It's all about the post. It's all about the title of the post and the relevancy of it, where when you search online, YouTube, Facebook page, you type in a keyword, a name, a mention of a Snapchat or Kaden Pressy's name, and then you click search, you look at the latest post, and I did not see anything at all at the time, some days ago. Now, yes, it does show up, because actual posts have been made and titled either Kaden Pressy or new Snapchat revealed. Okay, so Brooke Carter didn't make it exactly easy, didn't exactly answer my questions. Maybe we're not on the same wavelength and maybe there was a language barrier, but nevertheless, this was the context behind me finding out about it. Let's head on over to Facebook and see what Dusty has had to say. Here we are. This was 2 days ago by Dusty saying, okay, everyone is trying to seal the timeline with this mysterious Snapchat that was posted. Now, who was the first one to post it and where was it posted to? Was it on Sofa Sleuths? Then was it leaked or reposted onto the Presgrove Army page? I wonder. Now, Brooke Bounce Carter said, we have it. So I'm assuming the Snapchat here is what they had and what it's been released just recently. So besides Brooke, who else had it? And who was the first one to initiate posting it? That's what I'm interested in. But Dusty says, there are some who say they have seen the photo, but for all the rest of the public now, it could be a picture of anything. Now let's discuss if it even proves anything. Also, keep in mind, we have no idea whose phone this came from. Well, that's great, isn't it? See, this is what I mean. This is what the problem is. I'm not talking about Dusty here. They're a good individual. I'm talking about those within the case that may have the information, may have evidence, media. There may be a time where they can reveal it to the public. But how they execute it is shit, okay? How they, present it. It's so half-hearted. It's done so awkwardly, fumbling about. Here's the proof. Here's the photo. Here's the video. Yeah, it's really shit quality. It's almost like you've recorded it on a Nokia phone in 2024, like when you're trying to prove that Bigfoot or aliens are real and exist. But where's the clear quality? Where's the high definition? It's 2024, right? Where is it? It's almost like done on purpose. Oh, the files got corrupted. Oh, the files aren't exactly processing correctly. Oh God, it needs to be clear, just like how when it's presented, if you're talking, it needs to be clear so it's easy to follow and understand, right? And then even when it has been provided, it's like, okay, we've got the photo, we've got some material, but what else? Where's the caption, the timing, who's it from? Like how Dusty says here, we don't know who it's from. Well, how does that help? Oh, people within the case are trying to disprove Kaden Pressy, trying to discredit him and say he's wrong. He's got the timeline wrong. So we got evidence to counter it. But by the way, our evidence isn't clear enough. And it doesn't actually say who's it from, or we're missing a few extra details, but we're assuming that you would believe in it even if it's a half-hearted attempt. It's just not good enough, right? It is an opportunity to set the record straight. You do everything you can and try to make it clear, but to be honest, like how I've presented the opportunity with some over time to set the record straight, instead of just simply explaining it in a normal way, oh no, they go far off the deep end and completely mess it up like plums. Anyway, what else do we have here? So, supposedly, it is a photo of one of the guys that went to the scene of the highway with Kaden and two girls that stayed at the house. Huh? The guy was supposedly asleep in this Snapchat. If he's asleep in the Snapchat, then how was the Snapchat taken? Was it by another individual? Supposedly photo one of the guys, party goers, that went to the scene. Right, so not that the photo is of the scene, but afterwards, I'm guessing? Or is it before? But if it's one of the... How many actually went that were at the scene? You had Kaden, you had Jack, you had Brylan, Mikey, and Isaac. So one of those guys, which has been referenced here. Okay. Kaden and two girls that stayed at the house. Who are the two girls? Avery Combs, Carter Combs. What about Jasmine Millan? What about Stephanie Millan? The guy, okay. I do know service is spotty in the area. Correct, yes. So there are a few things that I have questions on, plus the timeline. I myself have tried to load Snapchats when I don't have service. Sometimes it takes forever to upload. So with Snapchat, will it use the time that you started the upload or when it finally finishes the upload? Again, not for these purposes, but I've had issues getting things to load when I don't have service, and it finally loads when it picks up service, so that is something to question. Well, I'll just tell you something, Dusty. It's not to do with Snapchat, but it has everything to do with YouTube. Now, sometimes I've uploaded videos in the past, okay, let's say the 28th of October, okay, but I've not set the video public to watch. Let's say it gets to the 30th of October or December. Let's make it sound extreme, okay? So let's say I upload a video on YouTube in February, then fast forward on to December, I decide to set the video to public. What will the date be presented as? The date of when it was made public, not when it was actually uploaded. That's what I've experienced. I don't know if it happens to other people on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's a glitch, but that's how it's presented. Uploaded on this month, on this day. Set public to watch on that day, and then uploaded much before that, but it's not actually set. It's kind of like the Kenny Veach case where, when was it uploaded? Sometime in October, but it doesn't mean to say that that's the time he did the hike. He could have done it weeks before that and then uploaded it later onto his channel. Just because it gives a day, a date, time, doesn't mean to say that's when it actually happened. It could have been altered with. I think that might be a possible theme what we've come across today when it comes to Snapchat and altering things. The only thing I've remembered or seen is that sometimes I've received messages, text messages in the past, normal text messages, okay? And someone may have sent it much earlier on in the day, but because my phone was off, once I actually turned my phone on hours later and received the message, the time of that message was the time of when I received it, when I turned the phone on much later. So if I was to say, oh, you sent me a text at this time, and then they would be like, no, I sent it to you 5 hours earlier. But for me, displayed on my screen, it's saying 5 hours later. It's like when you've received it, when it's been put out there, when it's been collected by the other person on the other end, and then that time is given, even if it is later. It's kind of silly. There might be some internal things in where you can actually trace back the true original time, but that's just my experience. I know it's not Snapchat, but just wanted to give a point of view. Next, Kaden Pressy stated that the other guys went back to sleep. Yeah, we heard that when they returned back to the house after the scene. So that was after 5:30 when Kaden said he was told to leave the highway, and the guys followed as well. But Jack remained. This was confirmed by Renee Milan, who stated that she had to wake the guys up when she got there. It's disputed if she woke Kaden up or not, so no matter which timeline you go with, some guys were asleep before and after Noah was discovered. And remember, it's confirmed by all that Kaden and other guys rode together to the scene and were told to leave at some point. The timelines are disputed, right? So, interesting how it mentioned about Renee Milan arriving there, waking some of the partygoers up from the party house. And yet supposedly Sarah Long was claiming to have done the same thing, but at 8 in the morning onwards. And so calling it the party house, she called it the scene. Slip of the tongue maybe. Dusty says, so my true question is, how does this one Snapchat post help solve or prove anything, really? I think there needs to be a lot more context to go with this, well said. And all this is even before we all try to figure out if you can manipulate a timestamp. So it's right there. Do we have the comments? We do. Is that? I know that's an additional post. But someone said here, Joyce, I know that this photo is floating around. She's talking about this photo here. We'll get to that in a second. The Snapchat one. I just wanted to point out, using my Snapchat on a photo saved to memories and one not saved to memories. So that is a photo that has been saved to memories in Snapchat. No, I have not seen the photo. Researching on how to change the time and date is not plausible. If you know how to do it, take a video of how you can change the information. Okay, I'm not saying anything that's wrong. I did want to point this out. Okay, so there seems to be some counterpoints there. Right. What's this all about on the left-hand side? It says Terrell, Oklahoma, September 4th, 2023 at 5:27 a.m. Okay, so I'm guessing this is the point of view of one of the party goers. Now, why was, is this at the actual time of the party? Or has it been like, well, it would have had to have been because of that time. Unless behind that screen there is a photo, an actual photo of someone like asleep, and you've thrown up the information screen to check the details behind the photo or video, and then it gives the details, so it's kind of covering the screen. Because if someone was to screenshot almost like as a proof or receipt, but they did it before anything actually happened in the event leading up, would seem suspicious. It's as if you're planning ahead, right? It's kind of like, what's a situation? Not that it happens all the time, because some people can be very cautious and it is very understandable nowadays. But if like you had two individuals, they're getting close to one another, but maybe kind of strangers, because facing face to face for the first time, and one of which records a particular conversation just to make sure that there is proof of consent or something, and it sounds a bit weird. It sounds like there's trust issues from the beginning. It's not exactly healthy. It sounds toxic, but the way people can switch like a light afterwards. Oh, you raped me. What? And then you got that audio which proves there was natural consent. You shouldn't have to go to such depths or extremes like that, because it's kind of going behind the person's back. But then if they double cross you afterwards, you got to have a counterpoint. But it's like the act of recording or maybe screenshotting potential proof or a timestamp, a timeline, before anything bad has even happened, before anything is anticipated to happen. But if in your mindset you do get a hold of proof or some kind of alibi, some kind of evidence before anything's happened, it kind of implies that you feel that something will happen next, or you're involved in what happens next, innocent or not. I don't know. It's just trying to understand, because there's no context. There's not enough context. Brooke Bounce Carter, we have proof. We have a Snapchat, or we have this which disproves Kaden, says that Kaden's timeline's all wrong. How does this one photo say Kaden's timeline's all wrong? To relay what Kaden originally was getting at was Kaden Pressy and the group of guys who he was with in his red Cherokee vehicle got down to the highway at 5:20 a.m. in the morning, Monday, September 4th, 2023. 10 minutes later, at 5:30, ordered to leave. And that's what happened, and then returned back to the party house. That timeline supposedly wrong. take in mind, like for Brooke Bounds Carter and others along the way, to say Kaden's timeline, oh, it's all wrong. Oh, it's all wrong. What area is wrong? Oh, it's all wrong. But what area? Are we talking about the timeline of 5:15 onwards being told about the death and going to the highway? Or are we talking about Saturday morning, Sunday, where they went, where they were at? Oh, work a gas station, eating food in the morning, then hog hunting or killing animals later on, getting to nighttime. Is that wrong as well? Times weren't exactly given then, but examples as to events, what happened, of activities were included. So it's kind of a timeline without the actual times. Yeah, kind of dodgy that. But to say, oh, it's all wrong. What? All wrong in terms of the timeline Monday onwards? All wrong from Sunday onwards, Saturday onwards, everything? It's just not clear enough, the language, the wording. Nothing worse when someone says, oh, you've done it wrong, oh, it's all wrong, but then they don't actually explain themselves afterwards without elaborating how you expected to improve, how you expected to fix the problem if they're not going to explain what the problem is, right? So what we see on here, a Snapchat post, maybe covering the screen of the photo possibly, looks like it's not even a proper screenshot from the internal device itself. And what I'm getting by that is, what you're watching right now, this video, this live premiere, I'm basically doing a screen recording of what I see on screen, which is what you see on screen as well. Okay, it's not a live stream, it's pre-recorded, but still, if I move up and down, you can as well. That's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is what I'm seeing, but I'm controlling it because I can move up and down, I can press buttons. You can't because you're just watching a video. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, that, isn't it? But when it comes to Reddit, and I've seen it in the gaming community, someone may share a post of their character, something they've unlocked from a chest, an achievement in game, post results from a match, the scoreboard, the leaderboard, and say, oh look, I'm number 1 in the world, look at me, oh, I've got a high kill death ratio, I'm so good. And not everybody does an internal screenshot of from their point of view. They end up getting a secondary device, opening camera, and then pointing it towards the other device or monitor where it's coming from. So basically the quality is shit, blurry, and it doesn't capture everything on screen because you're looking at it through a different screen, a secondary one. Now, when it comes to devices, most phones nowadays, you can screenshot. You press a couple of buttons on your phone and it will take a snapshot photo of everything that's currently on the screen. Right now, I'm doing a screen recording. So it's recording a video of what's on screen with the microphone enabled from the phone, hence why you can hear me talk, right? So how it's presented here is very amateur in a way. Okay, and maybe it feels like there is a cutoff, right? There's black spacing there. With that black spacing there and that little white bar at the bottom, that looks like an iPhone. Basically, what you see on my screen, that black bar going across, is similar to what's on there. Now, maybe it could be a Samsung device, but I don't know. That little white bar, or grey bar, makes me think this is an iPhone. So this appears to be a screenshot of a photo in which the original person taking it, possibly, was taking a photo from another device of the device which had the post on screen and the timestamp. Oh my god. It's not even third party, it's 4th, 5th, 6th party. Really downgraded. And why is it so blurry? Did they have a shaky hand or something? It would have made more sense just to put it down on the table and take a photo that way, or just screenshot it, because it doesn't matter how shaky your hand is, it won't make a difference on quality. But September 4th, okay, Monday, 5:27 a.m. I mean, how does that disprove Kaden Pressy? How does that say that Kaden Pressy's timeline is wrong? 5:27 a.m. Is that implying that at 5:27 a.m. they're still at the house and they didn't leave until later? Is that what it's implying? I don't know. Where's the actual photo? There's not enough context. It says delete snap, my eyes only, favourite snap, edit snap, remix. Well, that's not good. We can't see the actual photo. The timing of when a photo or a snap was taken is presented, but as for the context of the photo itself, it isn't there. And there's people in the background saying, we have it. We have the proof. Well, why are you only releasing half of it? Why does it feel like breadcrumbs? That does no favours whatsoever. Let's just see the comments. Need to try and make sense of this. Did I miss out anything there? I don't think I did. Top comments, all comments. Oh boy, it's kicking me off, isn't it? Okay, so I'll just read this. What's this? So this was by Meta AI. Yes, timestamps on Snapchat can be manipulated. Here are some ways it can be done. Changing your device's clock by adjusting the date and time on your device. You can manipulate the timestamp on your Snapchat snaps and chats. Using third-party apps, there are various third-party apps available that allow you to edit or fake Snapchat timestamps. Snapchat's built-in features. Snapchat has features like Snapchat memories that allow you to share old snaps with a timestamp from the past, so not present. Please note that manipulating timestamps may violate Snapchat's terms of services. If you have any specific concerns or questions, feel free to ask. So basically, there is a chance that this Snapchat post at the time relevant to Kaden Pressy's timeline, which supposedly disproves him but doesn't give enough context as to how, but on the basis that if it did, and it doesn't tie in line with what Kaden has said, even though this says 5:27 a.m, well, at 5:27 a.m, supposedly Kaden was saying how he was at the highway. And then a few minutes after that, at 5:30, then left and then made it back. Is this at the house at 5:27? Does that imply that Kaden didn't leave until later or wasn't told until later? The hell's going on here? I don't know personally, but like what Justin Roy was adding on lower down, or what he researched, was Snapchat timestamps and dates can be altered with to suit a person's agenda. So if someone was trying to prove that, oh, you see that photo of that person, that's actually of present day, present time. It was only a few days ago, but in actual fact, it was taken back in 2021. But somehow you can manipulate the timestamp, the files of it, you know, then maybe it can prove more your point and your agenda, but it's like on a load of false lies and stuff. I mean, when it comes to taking photos just on mobile device, you can go into the file section and you can even alter the dates. You can change it. Now, maybe internally, or if there was some kind of police check on the phone, they probably could check the original file, the original date, etc. But you do have the option to alter the date, the time, even the name of the file, right? You can manipulate it. So I guess that applies to Snapchat as well. Timestamps can be altered. What does Dusty say? I get it, but let's say they didn't. All these other things factor in as well. I'm just stating what it can be. Kaden Pressy said others went back to sleep, so almost an hour later they would be sleeping. I don't know what I'm missing out on now. Did you say 2 girls went with Kaden Pressy and the 3 boys when they were woken up by Jack Newton? Yeah, let's see what this is all about. Dusty says, no, 2 girls are supposedly in the Snapchat photo in question. All the girls stayed at the house when Kaden Pressy and the guys went to the scene. Right, so, and what does that mean? I don't know. Kaden said he didn't go back to sleep, but yes, it was Renee that supposedly woke them. However, it was Sarah that claimed she woke up Kaden and them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's definitely a good question in regards to if it took a long time to load, which timestamp would it have been? Could have been from a totally different day as well, since the girls weren't crying and one of the guys was supposedly sleeping. And even using both timelines, it could have been taken whilst the guy was asleep and posted. It does not take long to get back to the house from the site of Noah's body. Have you seen the snap? I have not seen that one. I'm not sure many people have. If not many people have seen it, is that what Brooke Bounds Carter is getting at? That it's been shown to some people? What good does that do, though? Okay. What's this one? At 3:41 a.m, someone named Jasmine posted a cryptic Snapchat post. Oh, we've seen that before. Stephanie, I'm sorry, okay. So whose phone is pictured in your original post? It's showing that there was supposedly a Snapchat at 5:27 a.m, but whose phone is this? Is this Kaden Pressy's phone? Is he showing that he sent a Snapchat at this time to corroborate his timeline? I believe Kaden's story, by the way. We don't know whose phone it is. So we don't know whose phone it is, but it was taken at 5:27 a.m. My question is, where was it taken? In the party house, at the scene of the highway? And how does that link to Kaden Pressy being wrong about his time? Yeah, it's a bit weird, this. I showed this photo to my daughter who uses Snapchat a lot. She said she has never seen this screen before. What does that mean? Mine doesn't show it like that either. You hold down on a picture in Snapchat and that screen appears. Right, okay, and there's an example of it. So if you hold it down, then it will come up with an overlay where you can check for the information and the settings regarding that particular Snapchat post. So basically, what's been revealed publicly is the timestamp of an unknown, unidentified, unshown photo, because the overlay is covering the bloody photo. Well, that's great. It's useless. My God. I'm not chasing my tail over this. It lacks too much information. It lacks. Yeah, it's like him. Had Kaden Pressy ever stated who the other guys were that rode with him? Yes, it was Isaac Rojas, Mikey, Brylan Sweat. You referred to 3 that were sleeping in the living room with Jack. Yes. It was Isaac Rojas, Mikey, Brylan Sweat, Kaden Pressy that went down to the highway, and Isaac was crying quite a lot. Got there at 5:20 a.m, 5:30 ordered to leave. At around 5:30, Kaden was in the process of using his towel from his vehicle and covering Noah's body, but didn't get the opportunity to do that. Okay? What else? What do they say about riding down with Kaden Pressy and what they saw and heard? Well, I haven't spoke publicly, but I know of. Also, I don't know that any of them weren't involved in his death. I've wondered what they looked like, aside from upset. Was there anything to Kaden Pressy that seemed off? Did they have cuts, blood, bruising, aches, or appeared injured to him? Yeah, after effects, possibly. I just hope that if anyone has that information, not withholding. I don't remember their names. Well, I've explained it, so it's all under control there. Joey, the Snapchat 5:27 proves absolutely nothing. At least from my perspective at this moment, I agree. So what you have, a Snapchat picture at 5:27 a.m, which doesn't actually show the photo, just the overlay of the timestamp, so there's no context or relevancy to what the photo is about, which is fucking useless. But yeah, Jamie says, at that time, which shows a second in time when one of the boys was not in the picture and could have been using the bathroom or somewhere else in the house instead of asleep or trying to sleep in the living room at that given second in the time of 5:27. And so what, you have a snap at 5:27 and the girls weren't crying in the picture at that very given second, as they might have started crying after 5:27 when they were notifying others and talking in the kitchen to each other, like Kaden said minutes after they got back. Kaden never claimed that the boys were all asleep in the living room at 5:27. Yeah, true. And that no one ever got up to use the restroom or for anything, and that the girls were crying exactly at 5:27. Nor is the snap mutually exclusive from Kaden's witness account, as both can be true and have happened, as this snap only depicts a second in time, not what happened when they got back for the 30 minutes to an hour before others got there, which is the time period Kaden was referring to, when the boys were asleep and the girls were in the kitchen crying. The boys were asleep and the girls were crying shortly thereafter Kaden got back, which is less than 5 minutes and before 5:27 a.m, as they left to go to Noah's body within a couple of minutes of being told by Jack at 5:15 that Noah's dead, which is less than a minute drive. They were, do you know what, I think it's going on a bit too much, this. Ali Marie, I just have the hardest time with the fact that they're all told Noah is dead and they just go back to sleep, as someone said. Yeah. But one of the 3 other boys did not touch their phone and come back and fall asleep. Wouldn't their phone stay in the sleep mode? Right, I'm going to ask some questions later. I know it might be worded here, but it's just too messy at the moment, if I'll be honest with you. Let's go on to Reddit, because it's a bit clearer there. There we go. One day ago by Agreeable. Screenshot of Snapchat. Let's see if it's just worded better here. This is floating around on Facebook pages. People are debating whether a Snapchat memories timestamp can be altered or not. They state a male who was supposed to be with Kaden on the scene was actually at the home sleeping with 2 girls, but not together though, who looked to have jumped in for a funny pic. Oh. The timestamp says 5:27. They're keeping the kids' identities private for now, although several are verifying it's real. Well, you know what? Everyone can remain skeptical, even if there is a timestamp which says, well, these guys or these people are here when Kaden was saying that they were at the highway and they were together. What the hell's going on? Well, we've not seen the photo of the 5:27 timestamp, just the overlay of the timestamp and not the photo because it's covered up. It's not good enough. Okay? Maybe it will be revealed eventually, but really, I'm not convinced at this moment in time. It's just not good enough. Okay? I mean, when there's a time and when it's possible, if there is evidence, if there is material to show, you look back at my channel, fuck me, you will get it all, right? It's like with Kenny Veach. Oh, CCTV footage. Here's the footage. Here's the full footage. Here's the timestamp. Here's footage from inside of the healing store from every angle. Here's what's on sale. Here's what's being sold. Everything as much as possible. Here's the location. Here's the Google Earth footage. Here's the cameras where they were pointing at the time. And let's go back in time as well to a certain point to see if it links or ties in. Many attempts were made to show it from different angles. And with this case, those within, they don't exactly make it easy, do they? They like make people have to jump through hoops and loops to get to the truth. It's just bit silly, isn't it? So this was another perspective, right? A few of us have seen a snap from the morning that Noah was found. Why is it that a few of us have seen it? What does that mean? A few saw it and the rest didn't because it was deleted afterwards? Or that only a few people were showing it privately in the background, have not revealed it and didn't consider taking a screenshot of it or didn't anticipate for it to disappear after? What the hell? The Snapchat was taken at 5:27 a.m. My question is, why is it only coming out now? If there's a form of innocence from somewhere, or someone's been on the receiving end of something for so long and now they're defending themselves with this Snapchat or so, it should have come out much sooner then. This is like a Jasmine Milan Snapchat situation debacle, but much worse. Because most of us can't see the photo. A timestamp is given, but that's just not enough, and it's only just been released now, but there's not full context. At 5:27, according to Kaden Pressy, he and 3 boys, which was Isaac Rojas, Mikey, Brylan Sweat, were supposed to be on the scene of the highway. But I can guarantee you that this Snapchat is of 3 people, one of which is sleeping. The person sleeping is one of the boys that was supposed to be with Kaden Pressy at the scene of the highway at the same time. Finally, it's actually worded clear enough. So how I interpreted it, I was right, of course, but how it's worded here, a lot easier to understand. The person sleeping is, okay, supposed to be, yeah. I can also tell you it contains girls, and they aren't crying either. This Snapchat was one of many taken between 5 to 5:45 in the morning before they found out the tragic news of Noah. Wait, so they only heard of the news of Noah after 5:45? Is that what you're implying? I'm not posting the pic of the kids because they are not my kids and I don't think that's my place. When the family feels like the time is right, they will post the complete Snapchat message. What do you mean by when the family feels that when there is a right time? Which family? The Carter Combs, Avery Combs family, Howard family, or the Presgrove family? Which family are we talking about? Can't even name that. That's great. I don't know who this person that posted it was. It's on Noah Presgrove's, well, that just says case. Is it Noah Presgrove's Army or is this a different different group or something. I don't know. But I couldn't find this one in particular. Oh, it was by Michelle Berry. Who the hell's Michelle Berry? Never heard of before. So is Michelle Berry the same person that posted this as well? Maybe. You probably can't see it because it is hard to read, but I'll just zoom in there. Alicia Lee responding to Siobhan. I think someone said Siobhan is a prat. I don't know personally, but let me tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if some knob came on in and said, "Why are you calling me a knob? That's not nice, Raf." Bitch, did I say it was coming from my mouth? No, it wasn't. Why do I have to start sounding like some kind of valley girl all over again? Why are people turning me into a valley girl? You're going to make me wear a crop top next and straw hanging out my mouth? Y'all, get a grip. The hell? But Alicia Lee says, my son can describe it perfectly. He saw him on the side of the road at 5:21 a.m. Siobhan, and what time did he call you? Alicia, the mother, says, what do you mean I called him? Brooke Bounds Carter says, if he wasn't washed inside, even though there is video proof of a shower, you know it was the patio, which I'm assuming your son told you. Why didn't he call 911? The patio. Well, it just so happens that Kaden Pressy mentioned about the patio at about 6:30 in the morning onwards when he noticed there was a wet patch. You remember that? And we did that analysis. What's that got to do with being washed inside? Noah being washed outside earlier on. And what else do we have here? 1 hour ago, Stevie Howard, I told you not to come after my kid and you're still doing it with your false narrative of, I'm not accusing Kaden of anything. That is not my daughter, that's my niece. Kaden didn't even know I was coming with her mother to get her. Kaden went to sleep after she left with her friend. I have a location and saw her moving from the house. Her mother called her and told her to pull over. I don't appreciate you posting a photo of a minor on a public forum. Not something that someone who claims to not be making accusations would do. It wasn't 3:30 and I never said that time. His timeline isn't messed up and Kaden isn't remembering anything incorrectly. He looked at his phone at 5:15 in the morning because he thought he had just went to sleep and was trying to get her bearings regarding what was hearing coming out of his friend's mouth. The reason I have stated a mile away in a private text that I sent to Donna Bond, maybe, last year, that you somehow obtained was because if Noah was found a mile away from the house, he was not on that road at that time. Kaden did not go back to sleep. Your sister did not wake him up. Stop that nonsense. He did indeed say the girls were in the kitchen dining area crying and began calling the parents. It was about 45 minutes later when the first parent of your child's friend arrived. Right. Comments? Let's see. In all the podcast readings, etc., I've done of this case, no one seems to mention the lack of anyone talking about the sisters and how nothing has been stated or shared directly from them. However, the mom and guard dog squad loves to come out and attack anyone that does talk says. Right? The girls have spoken on Facebook. It's been said they've gotten death threats and called murderers, etc. So understandably, they stopped speaking on Facebook. So agreeable. I mean, I heard Sarah Long quote that, and that their house has been damaged as well. I don't know how true that is, but interesting. So they're receiving death threats. What about all the other 30, 40 party girls? Have they received death threats as well? Is it all focused on the girls only? But yeah, if you are threatened, you probably will you may back down. Some people may be encouraged to stand their ground. Everyone's different, of course. Not everyone likes confrontation. If you're on the receiving end, whether you're guilty or not, you might act depending on how people treat you at the time. That's why I always say when you're looking at a case, you might hate someone, you might be skeptical, suspicious of someone within the case, but the more you push them, you're pushing them away and it's harder to track them and they could go underground and then what do you do there? So sometimes you got to work with the devil to an extent and see how it goes from there. But Interesting. So you talk about the likes of Carter Combs, Avery Combs have received death threats that have gone quiet. Not quite enough, because Carter Combs was quite okay in saying to somebody in a private DM that I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Okay, threatening language, not exactly an essay, but had the confidence to say that, but only privately, because they didn't want anyone else to see it, any of the followers. Yeah. Let's move on. A few days ago, I saw someone mention the snap of the sisters arguing on the porch or wherever outside during the time Noah was missing. What time was it posted and what were they arguing about? Yes, I've heard about that. I think it was also mentioned by Skippy, that was re-quoting it from a Daily Mail article, which I never got round to covering because I've been busy, but maybe it could be looked into. Valid questions. Yeah, why'd they be arguing? Ms. Yeah, I'm not an expert on Snapchat, but could you have taken a photo from the photo library of your phone that was taken earlier in the day and then created a snap of it with a timestamp later? Yes. Just try it out. You can edit a snap and that's been saved to your camera roll. Don't let anyone make you believe otherwise. I believe original post or someone else posted the exact same question on Facebook. Okay. Ever. Also, I'm assuming that you actually saw this picture, and how do we know times can't be altered? Yeah. I know that you can actually change the actual date and time. I mean, yeah, the date and time is important itself. Is it actually at the correct time, or has it been altered with to suit somebody's agenda in the case in an unnatural way? Yeah, that's very important. But what's more important is the bloody photo itself. We need to see the photo itself first and then look at the time. There's no point looking at the time of it and saying, well, that aligns perfectly, and we're being told that supposedly this is a photo of a time of a key individual that should have been here, but they're actually over there, and Kaden Pressy said he was with him, so why wasn't he with him? Where was Kaden then at that time? Okay, it might suggest that Kaden's wrong about that person was with him when they weren't, but where was Kaden then? How does it fully disprove him? It doesn't. It's just not enough. Maybe there's more evidence or more photos, but it's just not there yet. So you can't expect the general public to just suddenly nod their heads and say, okay, yes, Kaden's lied. No, you can't expect that. I just asked my kid, she said you can alter snaps just like a photo, just have to know how to do it. She's 16 and knows everything, if you get me. Okay. Do I have Snapchat? No. Have I ever used it? No. Do I ever want to use it? Definitely not. Yes, numerous people have posted videos on how easy it is to do. Okay. And why would anyone want to alter the date time of a Snapchat? Well, within a case, they do it to suit their own agenda, to make themselves look innocent or to prove a point, what they're trying to shove in people's faces at times. Just read somewhere that, yes, you can change the time. Yeah. Can you tell me who posted this? Michelle Berry. But who is Michelle Berry? So after going through all of that, raw, rough and rugged, what's my conclusion to it? Basically, whatever has been presented, even though the context is severely lacking and we're just supposed to believe in a description of what the photo is, but all we can see ourselves is the timestamp of it, it's just not good enough. We need to see the photo, the actual photo itself, of what's depicted, who it is. Is it Isaac with girls sleeping or taking a photo selfie? Is it Brylan? Is it Mikey? And if it is one of those guys who should have been at the scene of the highway when Kaden said they were there, then why the lie? Is it because Kaden in that scenario is protecting someone? But still, even if it showed that, well, that person's there and Ken's saying he was with him, but he wasn't, then that means Kaden's lying and the timestamp's wrong. Does it really turn everything upside down? No. It turns part of it upside down, then it could make you question everything else, chain reaction, but this timestamp of a person with girls at 5:27, but supposedly it's not being directed as it was Kaden in that photo. Well, then where's Kaden then? At the highway, as he described? So, you know, even if this Snapchat post and photo was all true and it showed that Kaden made a mistake about recalling a person's name who was there when they weren't and they were back there at the time, it doesn't turn everything else upside down unless there's more Snapchats and posts which say, well, Kaden at this time was actually here when he said he was there. That would say he's wrong. But that's not what this post is about. This post is more so about another individual, another party girl who's supposedly with Kaden, but they're not. But Kaden said he was, but they're not. But how true is it when timestamps could have been altered with to suit an agenda? It could have been taken much earlier on at the party and it was altered, the timing of it. You never know. And even if it's not been altered and it's natural, I've just not seen the photo, so it's not convincing enough at this moment in time. Some people out there could throw the toys at the pram, but you know what? If you're going to be very passionate, you're going to present something, you need to make it clear and you need to execute it correctly, because if not, people aren't going to be convinced enough. So we're going to probably get delays until more's fed. It's like drip feeding breadcrumbs, which is unfortunate. But that's some of the latest news that's come about. Is it groundbreaking? Is it breaking news? Does it turn everything upside down? No, because the photo wasn't there. If the photo was provided just recently and the timestamp as well, both together and clearly outlined and a clear caption, and yeah, you could definitely question it more. But that's not the case here, so that might take time. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you convinced by it? Are you suspicious of it? Do you agree that timestamps can be altered with on Snapchat? Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you want, you can like the video if you found it interesting. But yeah, all in all, that's it for now. When you do get time, check out my other videos where the eye symbol is top right corner of the screen. And I'll see you next time. For now, goodbye and good night.